Hi there, today I'm going to talk about the practice of returning to love. The practice of returning to love is a very useful technique whenever you feel overwhelmed or you feel emotionally drained or frustrated or angry or hurt or experience a wide variety of negative emotions and feelings and thoughts. Returning to love allows you to return to a base camp we call love base camp. And love base camp is very much about just returning to yourself, really. Essentially, it's returning to yourself and restoring and rejuvenating by creating a sense of compassion and love towards self, towards others. Now, self for failures, for shortcomings, for mistakes, and just being able. So, one element is about basically being compassionate towards yourself for past failures or mistakes or shortcomings, and just being very accepting and compassionate. So, returning to love allows you to rekindle the connection with yourself. Returning to love can also be used when you're angry or frustrated with someone. Someone's hurt you, or someone's done something which was unexpected, and you're frustrated or angry or hurt. You can also exercise return to love by just bringing a sense of compassion towards that person and forgiveness towards that person as well. So it works in a very similar way in both scenarios, whether it's yourself or whether it's someone else, or whether it's a situation or whatever circumstance you're in. Returning to love is like returning to a base, to your base, to your core, to your source, and giving yourself that space to restore. And we can also use the term sitting in love. The return to love is the act of going back to your base, and the sitting in love is actually to stay in that base camp and restore. So you may need to kind of spend that time sitting in love to rejuvenate and revitalize. So I'd be curious to know what it means for you to return to love, and if you sense it, and you can actually practice it by putting your hand on your heart and just feeling a sense of stillness and kindness and gentleness um, towards yourself for whatever you're experiencing. Now that experience, whatever you're experiencing, may be targeted at yourself, or it may be targeted at others. It would still be a very kind of similar emotion, whether it's at yourself, whether you're angry at yourself or whether you're angry at others. It's still a sense of anger or frustration or hurt. So you basically, a love base camp is to just give yourself that kindness for that experience. Bring a sense of gentle kindness and compassion towards that experience, and you can of course combine that with deep diaphragmatic breathing. And I have a video about how to do deep diaphragmatic breathing. So you can basically combine these two, but essentially returning to love is a heart practice. It's to bring attention to the heart area and to feel kindness and compassion. So please spend 5 to 10 minutes to do this practice. So just sit and feel, put your hand on your heart and return to love. Return to your base camp. Just sitting and feeling that you are returning to love, returning to your base camp, returning to your source. How does it feel to return to yourself, to return to your heart, to your center, to your core, to your base? And spend 5-10 minutes just sitting in the presence of love, and just sense how it feels, and what kind of what arises and what falls in terms of emotions, thoughts, and so on. Please write a reflection on your experience, whether it's effective, whether there is some beneficial outcome, or if you don't feel anything, then also please reflect on that, and that's fine. I mean, it's a practice that might work for some and might not work for others. But it's something that it would be worth practicing and trying for yourself. For me, this is probably the most powerful practice that I have whenever I feel frustrated or angry or hurt. I always return to love, and I spend time just sitting and feeling sitting in the presence of love for not just a few minutes, but it could take a few hours. In fact, it might take a whole day that I might be doing this practice consciously and just returning to the heart. And it's a heart practice, so it's always about bringing your attention to kindness, gentleness, compassion, and the heart. So looking forward to see what your experience is like and your reflections. So I hope this practice will be beneficial for you and becomes also a powerful practice that you can do on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis. Thank you for listening, and see you next time.